one point we realized, oh, hey, we're recording.
Ah.
Hey, hello, listeners. We didn't see you there.
Welcome to an all-new episode of Star Trek. Well, actually, Joy of Trek.
Joy of Trek. I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
And today we're going to be reading a story, Kay.
Yes, we are. The first time in the new year, in the new season, we are going to alternate every other week with a story from the fanfics we found on the Internet Archive.
Yes, archive of our own.
Sorry, that's
different
the one.
organization, which has tremendous, just ginormous numbers of Star Trek fan fictions that we've filtered through cunningly, thanks to our chief.
Yes. We're going to try to keep it PG mostly.
Yeah, so they have an interesting rating system. They've got general audience,
And
teen and up,
All right.
mature,
Okay.
mature, and explicit, and that's the one with boob butts in it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it says no archive warnings applied. I wonder what that means.
So it has another system where there are particularly content warnings, so certain category of people who are sensitive to the depictions of violence or certain types of violence or even character death that people are sensitive to enough that that's a special warning.
Okay, fair enough.
So this story that the chief has picked for us does not have any of those warnings because we also, we filter for that sort of thing.
Right.
We don't want to see. And we're trying to stick to no crossovers so we don't have Harry Potter suddenly invading the Enterprise D.
Good.
Well, hey, some people enjoy that, but we don't know who they are.
So this is actually quite almost on par with our one of our things we do, which we has the little deleted scene, which is like one of the additional tags that this story has. It's like it's got the missing scene tag. So it's kind of like
brilliant.
So yes, that would be an excellent fill into our missing scene that we have at the end of every episode. So this is Queen of Roses 12's missing scene, I suppose, for episode 106, The Naked Time.
Of the original series.
Of the original series, yes.
Titled Guarding the Guards. All right, apparently there are notes at the end. Let me have a quick little look and see if those are definitely needed. Yeah, the episode is first season 1. No, this is probably all fine. This is probably fine.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm sure it'll be A-OK.
Okay, now, are we going to do this by taking turns reading paragraphs again?
That always used to work for us.
All right. In that case, we have a new character is being introduced. That's Security Chief Giotto. I just saw that. We're going to have to agree on an accent for this person.
Okay.
So, Kay, do you want to submit your audition?
Ooh, Giotto. That sounds Italian, right?
Yes, I think it is.
All right. Am I going to do a horrible faux Italian accent?
It's me, Security Chief Giotto.
For Pluto's sake, we're going to crash the least. We could get a better soundtrack to die for, Security Chief Giotto growled, glaring at the nearest intercom.
Hey, I didn't get to do my audition.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, now, the chief is going to appreciate this. Watch your headphones. Giotto.
Very good Star Wars reference, and
Thank
it
you.
is. Oh gosh, I noticed it. It's Jabba's throne room.
Yes.
Empire Strikes. Sorry, Return of the Jedi, of course.
That's right.
Yes.
It's Leia the Hutt Slayer pretending to be an Ubi's
Bounty hunter.
That's right. And he says he has a thermal detonator.
Yes.
Okay, but let's go with yours one.
All right.
One then.
For Pluto's sake, if we're going to crash, the least we could do is get a better soundtrack to die to. Security Chief Giotto growled, glaring at the nearest intercom.
All shipwide intercoms were useless, having been hijacked by one very stoned lieutenant who was, at the moment, treating them all to his umpteenth rendition of the cheesiest Irish ballad in existence. That's debatable. There are others. His tasty music alone was worth tossing him out of an airlock for, in the very exasperated chief's opinion.
Unfortunately, getting to said lieutenant was a problem best left to the engineering department, so he would have to wait for satisfaction.
Ooh. At the moment, the entire security staff, that is, the currently uninfected, which came up to about 1/4 of the actual security force, was occupied with damage control. We should point out that The Naked Time is the episode of the original series where everyone gets a little bit spacey-wacy, and it's the one with Sulu waving a sword about.
Yes, a famous scene of anybody who's a fan of George Takei.
Yeah. And his glistening chest and his massive sword.
Giotto had some grave doubts as to letting people go about armed, given they still didn't know just how the infection spread. Dr. McCoy suspected it was only transmittable via touch, but he wasn't 100% sure, and Giotto didn't want to take any more risks than he absolutely had to. Anyone, including himself, could go rogue.
Ooh, but given the condition of certain crew members under the influence, so to speak, he wasn't going to let his folk go around unarmed either. Yeah, smart.
Say phaser set to stun. Finally, he had settled on handing out phasers deliberately set to stun.
Hey, there you go.
I'm prescient here. The most lethal damage a rogue redshirt could inflict with it would be if someone got clubbed with it.
Okay. I'm not super comfortable with doing him as Mario, but I'm just going to keep going. Actually, I'm going to go full Mario.
Okay.
Secure any and all weapons collected aboard. Giotto barked into his communicator. Yes, they were using communicator shipboard, with the intercom out of action, sort of inevitable. And yes, there really is a weapons collection in Commander Spock's quarters. No, I'm not infected. Go secure that too.
One of the 17 weapon caches aboard the Enterprise. Under red alert conditions, normally the security chief would remain in his office, coordinating the response of the several teams which would have been deployed.
Yeah.
But right now, with 3/4 of his people out of action, Giotto no longer had that luxury.
He had to be there in the thick of the action himself. Not that he was complaining. If they were going to crash after all, no way he would do it sitting behind a desk.
What is this about crashing? Like, there wasn't any real... Oh, yeah, they were. The
Yeah,
spinny
they were
planet.
orbiting the weird spinny planet
that's the one. Yes,
in the Naked
exactly.
Time.
Wow, was all Ensign Styles could say as he in power stepped into the first officer's quarters. Giotto had finally resorted to issuing security clearance codes to all redshirts still on duty. After all, the really classified stuff was all stored in the computers behind 1 million security systems. I thought Vulcans were pacifists.
Powers rolled her eyes. Now, yeah. A while ago, not so much. I'm making Powers a real California stoner here.
I thought you were going more Valley Girl, but sure.
Is there a difference? Aren't all California stoners Valley girls?
It's not that Valley. I think I made that mistake at some point. I think it's like a Chicago area or something. That's
other Valley. Oh, I didn't know. But when I think of Valley girls, I always think about, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Even she had to admit the weapon collection that adorned the walls was impressive, to say the least, and completely incongruous with the commander's pacifist scientist persona. Well, you never know with people.
Okay, so I think they're doing the thing that archaeologists or anthropologists have done throughout history, which is that they look at a dildo and think, oh...
This must be for a fertility ritual.
No, it's even worse. They go, oh, I wonder where the mortal goes with this pestle. Why they've got a lot of pestles? There's so many pestles here, no mortars. Weird. They must have had some other technology for it. No, it's dildos. That's not a weapons collection. That's just, marital aids. Him and T'Pring...
Okay.
To spice things up.
Sure. That sounds more like a Klingon thing, but,
The captain was the only person aboard whom the introverted Vulcan allowed to enter his quarters. Apparently because he had made it into a perfect little Vulcan sanctum, temperature and gravity settings included. The humans had to struggle to keep their footing in the increased gravity.
Styles was occupied in inspecting a wicked-looking scythe on the wall. Yeah, you think you let the captain touch this stuff?
I think he lets the captain touch a lot in this era. Chief Giotto had to break up more than a few fistfights on the way, stunned a couple and locked them in their respective quarters, chased the rest off.
As far as he could see, by the time warning went out to avoid skin contact, and no telling how many actually got to hear that warning, given the chaos communication shipwide was at the moment, almost all of the crew were infected.
Yeah, and certainly when, Sulu was running around in his YMCA sort of fever dream.
Sure, yeah.
Avoid skin contact? Nah, bro. He could only hope that the sickbay staff were safe, at least the team working on the cure.
What? He almost went sprawling as he tripped over a couple on the floor.
His first idea was that of another fistfight, but a second look convinced him that the couple were most definitely not fighting. Ooh, and so engrossed in their current activity that neither bothered to acknowledge the unintentional voyeur.
Giotto briefly considered separating the pair, given that neither was in a sober enough condition to consent. Then he recognized them.
Oh, these two.
Considering the pair had been reprimanded a day before for making out while on an away team, the infection wasn't making them do anything they wouldn't do sober. The security chief, now blushing almost as red as his uniform shirt, stepped over the busy pair and continued his patrol.
Ah! His communicator chirped, Giotto here. What?
Get another wannabe captain here, Lieutenant Druga reported.
Sounds of a struggle could be heard in the background.
Brakes full. Lock him in his cabin.
What did you give Durga again as an accent?
Oh, good one.
Sort of Scottish-Slovenian, I think you were
guess
going
something
for.
along that,
Yeah.
along those lines.
Dead. He somehow got out again. Can we take him to sick bay?
They've got enough to do. Tie him up or something.
Roger. While on the topic of captains, Chief, any idea where the original version is? Dr. McCoy called. He's looking for him.
Great. That was all they needed right now. The captain out of action. Well, worse than out of action. Given the type of plans James T. Kirk was known for enacting while completely sober, Giotto wasn't sure he wanted to even imagine what he would get up to in an infected state.
No clue. I'll try to find him. For now, tell the doc to call Mr. Spock for whatever's needed. Sorry.
Durga grunted. Chief, the captain was still looking for the commander.
Damn, so Vulcans aren't immune either.
Well, keep looking then. No need to assume he's infected. Maybe he's in the engineering with Scotty.
In the engineering with Scotty. Engineering, I know. Engineering with Scotty.
Engineering, I know. Singing, etc.
Warp drive, fiddly-I-O. Warp drive, fiddly-I-O. Okay. On the other side of the comm link, Durga's teammate shouted something. The assistant security chief paused a moment to listen, then reported, "Bad news. The commander's definitely infected."
Giotto muttered a curse. Does the captain know this thing spreads by touch?
Not sure. All right, check the security cams. Are they still working?
Only some. Bunch got smashed up.
Giotto took a deep breath. Fine, do what you can.
He rounded a corner, cursing luck with the fervency only starship security chiefs can manage, and stepped onto a layer of ice.
Whoa.
The security chief nearly dropped his communicator, windmilling his hands for balance. Once face-planting into the iced-over deck was not an immediate... Once face-planting into the iced-over deck was not an immediate possibility, he had leisure to check what the hell had happened.
New skating rink, a young command division ensign announced cheerily as he skated past the bemused chief. Just like the one in Moscow. Okay, that's Chekhov. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry, so not a,
Well, it's
not a
Chekhov.
Belfast.
Yeah, I suppose. Giotto counted about half a dozen skaters, not all of them ensigns, on the now frozen Deck 7 corridors.
What the hell? They weren't doing any harm. Either they'll get round to fixing the corridors after this mess is over, or the ship would have burned up in the atmosphere and it wouldn't matter.
At the same time, he had to admit crawling on all fours to get through the skating rink. He wouldn't trust to the improvised skates the command division kid. What was his name? Something Russian. Anyway, offered with all enthusiasm, was definitely not suited to the dignity of his office.
Giotto had served all his adult life aboard deep space ships. Till a few hours ago, he would have declared with perfect honesty that nothing could surprise him any longer. He had seen enough out here.
However, even the chief himself had to admit he had never imagined the heights of creativity to which inebriated Starfleet officers could rise.
Wow.
Especially when there was a ship full of them, and no one assigned as the designated driver, so to speak.
I love this prose. This is a well-written story.
Oh, yes.
Good job, Queen of Roses 12. No, Yeoman Rand, isn't it? No, you can't get into the fishbowl. It's too small. No, the fish won't feel lonely. They are fish.
How the hell did you manage to get that in? No, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Wow. Lieutenant Mres? Yeah, your fur's quite sleek and shiny. Yeah, sorry, just not my type. No, my hair is smooth enough. Thank you very much.
Yes, the flames are pretty to look at, really pretty. No, you can't wear them as a shawl. Yes, now, let me show you how this fire extinguisher works.
Kid, you really don't want to do this.
No, nurse, that is not the commander. That's a squid.
After what seemed like an eternity of averting one disaster after another. Hey, by the way, I'm a huge fan of Chief Giotto.
Oh, yes.
They're doing captain's work here. The beleaguered chief was almost wishing he had been infected as well. I wonder if our chief ever feels like that.
Archie?
Our chief.
Oh, our chief, sorry. I thought you said Archie. Like, who's Archie? It was just after he had persuaded Kyle that no, he was not a dragon that his communicator beeped again. Dr. McCoy.
Giotto here, and yes, against all odds, still sane, more or less anyway.
Same here. Oh, no, wait. This is
This is a
McCoy.
new interpretation
Sorry,
of McCoy.
This is McCoy.
Real gruff.
Same here. Good news. We got the antidote ready. Bad news. We got somehow to get it into everyone. And no, it can't be aerosolized. Inject directly.
Will do, Doc.
You guys have enough personnel for that? Most of my staff's gone cuckoo, including Christine. Heaven knows where she went.
Yeah, I think we've got enough for this. I'm really regretting doing Mario, but it's enough now. And I can grab the ones we cure as volunteers. By the way, Nurse Chapel's, well, infected, but mostly okay. At the aquariums now.
McCoy sighed. I'll send someone to fetch her.
Giotto wasted no time in communicating the good news to his teams, what remained of them anyway. They had news too, not always of an agreeable kind.
Oh, we're going to be okay, Styles crowed even before Giotto had explained about the antidote. Had the kid heard already?
Who told you?
Scotty called the engineering guys. We're not going to crash. The kid sounded way too excited.
Giotto was grateful when April took over. Sorry, Chief, but Styles seemed to have caught a mild case of whatever's going around.
I thought so. What was he going on about?
Well, the bridge folk finally worked out how to get us away before the planet checks out. They're going to cold start the engines.
Giotto froze. His specialization was in security, but he had worked in engineering for a while before deciding to switch. A while, but long enough to know that how bad an idea cold start was under most circumstances.
Of course, this was not normal circumstances, and if Scotty was the one advocating for it, he'd consider a trip into a black hole to be a good idea. But still, given the mental and emotional condition of too many folk aboard, including the top-level command crew...
Scotty worked out the formula.
No, Mr. Spock did.
Damn.
What?
The commanders are infected. He won't know what the hell he's doing. Did he look okay?
We didn't see him. We're still on deck 5, dude.
Giotto swore and began sprinting. He had to get there before. Before what? Surely Scotty wouldn't let even the commander anywhere near his beloved engines if someone seemed off.
But then, who was to say Scotty was completely himself either? And the infected folk could be good enough at dissimulating if they did want something badly enough.
After all, even that idiot Kevin Riley had somehow managed to convince the engineering folk to leave him alone in the room, kick-starting this entire mess. The commander would have it easier.
There was no way he could get there in time. Even if he did, there was little chance of convincing anyone in time to stop it.
Then again, what was the point in stopping it? He had picked up enough communication from the engineering and the bridge once Riley had been mercifully silenced. They were minutes from crashing.
So maybe the commander was crazy, or just too incapacitated to judge correctly. No way to tell. And maybe the plan was just crazy enough to work.
The point was, there was no time to try anything else.
Giotto slowed down involuntarily. There was no point hurrying, no point rushing in.
A sudden jarring sent him crashing into the walls. A huge shudder went through the ship.
This is it! We're crashing! Oh, God, no. Or the engines are blowing up, or some other damn thing. This is it!
Giotto still couldn't quite believe they were all alive.
Yay!
The same could be said of the captain, he supposed, given his expression in one unguarded moment.
So we did get out in time, the now sober and very, very embarrassed Kevin Riley said.
Giotto noted. Yes, in time.
Literally, in time. 3 days in the past. Would be an interesting report to write to Fleet Brass, he supposed. Thankfully, not his job to deal with.
And even more interesting reports to send to the Vulcan Science Academy, he figured, given how their first officer had accidentally invented time travel while being effectively stoned out of his mind. Again, not his job.
But he definitely couldn't help but wonder what exactly went down between the captain and the commander in the brief time both were out of contact.
Out of curiosity, had worked out the pattern of infection. Nurse Chapel had infected the commander by coming onto him, causing the poor Vulcan to, naturally, bolt from the room.
Yeah.
Which he would have done in all probability even without the infection involved once he worked out what she was talking about.
The captain had been infected by the commander in the secondary briefing room. Said room looked like something very active had definitely happened in there. Ooh!
Giotto had noticed the captain blushing slightly as he talked to the commander after getting the antidote.
The security chief was too professional to indulge in speculation about the personal affairs of senior officers, but it didn't really take a detective to work out there was something between those two. The only question was whether the infection had led to a confession of some kind.
Not his job to speculate.
Oh, the end. Oh, that was brilliant.
Yes, that was a lovely little Trek story. We hope you enjoyed it. Please let us know. It's like
yes, we're trying something new, and like we'll see if it works. Because we do sort of pick these stories out of a hat because we want to be surprised. But hey, I think we're going to do this again, but not next week.
Yes, as a reminder to our listeners, we have switched to a bi-weekly schedule for our regular recordings, where we discuss an episode chosen by one of our listeners. And in the off weeks, there will be live readings, well, live for us, recorded for you.
Dramatic.
Dramatic.
Dramatic reasons.
We might do some voices. No, in fact, we will do some voices. Poorly,
Yes.
in my case.
Yes.
Excellently in the case of
No,
Kaki.
also poorly. I'm fully committed. We're in this together, bro.
And the Chief has picked us another story for us to read to you next time round, which is going to be You Are a Person to Me by Super Floxes.
Chief, what's this one about?
Dr. Catherine Pulaski is set to leave the Enterprise, and a farewell party is being held in her honor. All of her closest friends have been invited, but she notices a big absence. A certain yellow-eyed android who inexplicably has not shown up. When she goes to confront about it, however, she finds out something quite horrible. Data believes that Catherine does not consider him to be a friend of hers.
Whoa.
All right, that should be an exciting
Yay!
little episode.
Yes, because we've just, we don't get a lot of opportunities with Dr. Catherine Pulaski.
No.
And, I'm a huge Pulaski
She only
apologist.
had one season, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm really, really excited.
All right, that leaves us only with the one thing what to do.
The hell is this?
I'm leaving Starfleet.
Energized!
We hope you've enjoyed this week's story with your friends Kay and Kaki, production and editing by Chief Engineer Greg, and music by Fox Amor. Join us next week for Peak Performance, TNG 221. Visit joyoftrek.com/links to send us your recommendations, support us on Patreon, or to find us on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to The Joy of Trek, and we'll see you out there.